and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning into another video. Alright guys, so today you're seeing my face again, and look, I did a thing to my hair. Do we like that? I don't know, I like it. So today, as some of you may know, I am a moderator on Bracelетbook. So rather than cleaning out my to-dos, I thought we would take a look at some new patterns, comments, pictures, that sort of thing, and sit down with you guys and moderate a bit on Braceletbook. So hopefully this guy will kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at, what we do as moderators on the site, but also kind of some, maybe give you a better idea of what the certain messages and stuff you might be getting back on your patterns actually means, and kind of go through the guidelines a bit, that sort of thing. So if you are new here and you aren't familiar with my channel or who I am Margaron on Braceletbook. This is my Braceletbook profile right here, and I've been on Braceletbook for about 8.5 years. If you've been here before for my cleaning out my to-dos, you may have noticed this icon at the very top of the screen here with a massive number in it. And that is the admin panel, or the moderator panel. So if we go ahead and click in there, we can see patterns, photos, videos, links, comments, forums. Anything with a notification bubble on it with a number means that's how many items within that folder we have to moderate. So let's go ahead and jump in. What should we start with? Let's start with some photos. Why not? Start with photos. Everyone likes looking at photos. Let's see what we've got here. We've got someone's, ooh, this is a nice one to start off with. We've got a nice clear picture, large size. It hasn't given us any flags. Let's see. It's definitely the correct pattern, and this is pattern 47712. So I'm not familiar with what patterns are currently in the official challenges, so I'm going to pop over to the forum here in another tab and take a gander. And this said it was official August challenge, so let's see if we can find Johnny's post here. Official August 2020 challenge. We have found it. Okay. What was that pattern number again? And I just highlight this and it shows up the link in the bottom left hand corner. So it's 47712. And 47712 is on here. So we're going to go ahead and give this person a reward. And that's at the very bottom of my screen here. I'm going to open this in a new tab. So if we get another one, we have it there. And I'm going to copy this individual's username, pop over here. This is the reward screen. And pop in the username, and we're going to add one reward. Submit that. Reward updated successfully. Perfect. And we'll accept the photo. What do we have next? Ooh, duo color. This is actually quite a cool pattern. This is how my to-dos get so big, guys. I end up seeing all these cool pictures and patterns coming in as they're coming in. You see everything, you add everything. But this is definitely the pattern for sure. There's no challenge or anything written on this, so we'll go ahead and accept this. It hasn't flagged anything either, which is a big thing, of course. As we see, this one has flagged though. The image might be too small. Its dimensions are only 500 by 686. I would definitely agree with that. So generally when this occurs, it's probably, honestly, I see there's text on this. It's probably whatever app or program she's used to add text, or him or her, sorry, added text to the image, and the program's probably resized it. So basically what happens is the site takes it and then compresses it down to the size it wants it to be for previews and display purposes. So if the picture is too small, it doesn't show up in the display properly. So we want to decline that so it doesn't skew things. My cat is in here. She wants out. Give me a second. Never mind, she doesn't want out. Okay, This is like a lattice fishbone chevron. It's definitely the pattern, 100% there. It's clear, it hasn't flagged anything. We'll accept this one. And what's this next one? This next one is just a little flag. You could see the pattern clearly. You can see there's nothing flagged, so we'll accept that. Do you want up? You want to come up? You want to come up, say hi? Oh, yes, hi. This is my kitty Peachy. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. Alright, this is a little chick. It's definitely the front side of this pattern. You can see the picture, it hasn't flagged anything, and it's not too blurry. So we'll accept that. Oh my goodness, someone crocheted this to be like a wall hanging. Cute. Is it the same? It appears to be the same pattern, they've just added like a crown on top of the dog. So I'll go ahead and accept. Yes, hello. Hello. Oh yeah. I have two cats. That's one of the cats. And this is flagged as the same identifier. So someone uploaded this twice, probably thought that it didn't upload and not realizing it needed to be moderated. So we'll just send the message. The photo already exists in the database. Please try to avoid duplicates in the future. So a lot of the messages you guys get when you get patterns back and stuff are predefined for us to save some time. This is the same image again. So that's exactly what's happened, is the individual didn't realize it needed to be moderated. So a lot of them are predefined, and then we add things to them to be more, to give more explanation. This is a keychain picture of cute little waves. They use the same color scheme as that, and that's cute. There's no challenge or anything on it, so we can go ahead and just accept that as it is. Again, this is a very, very nice clear picture, and the knotting is super nice. So we can accept this. And we can add a note to it too. And we can accept it. And this is a puppy pattern. Appears to be the same, just different colors, so we can accept that. What are you doing? This looks photoshopped to me. You have to be careful with the images that look kind of photoshopped, because sometimes people steal them from other users and Photoshop them onto a normal background, but this looks like it's just this person's aesthetic, like just they have, it looks like papers or something, or placemats or images of these already, so I think we're okay on this one. It's definitely the proper pattern, so we'll go ahead and accept that. A parrot, that is definitely the parrot. The horse, whew, look at those nice crisp edges. This has an @ username on it, and I'm wondering, well, it looks like all their pictures do. Just being cautious because the text looked kind of a little bit grainy on my screen, and I don't want to accept a picture that's been stolen from anywhere. So, you know, this is definitely the correct pattern. Candy stripe, 2 photos have been added by this user already. It doesn't look like we have any duplicates. This is a new one, so we can go ahead and accept that. This is definitely the correct pattern as well. We can accept that. Challenge. This is definitely a challenge pattern. I've accepted a few of these already. I know it's a challenge for the weekly challenge. I know it's a pattern for the weekly challenge. I am just all over the place today. My gosh. So we'll go ahead and give that person a reward and accept this pattern. This is definitely this pattern. We can accept that. That's definitely the correct pattern as well, and no flags have gone. Oh, it's Dumbo. Again, we can accept that. And Moana, Moana. Make way, make way. Moana, it's time you knew. The village of Motunui has all you need. Alright, this is definitely the correct pattern as well. We'll accept that. Okay, now let's pop over to some patterns. Let's switch it up for a little bit. Oh, are you leaving now? Okay. It's very easy to go down like a rabbit hole and just keep going because it's so satisfying to see those numbers drop. Like, the level I want to just clear the board at right now. Tiana. Okay, we'll go to 30. Okay, we'll go to 30 and double waves, that's correct. A cherry pattern. I think I saw someone on Instagram did this one recently. Maybe Claire. Maybe it was Claire. Did a keychain of this pattern recently, I think. Oh, look at the cute little birds. That's actually a really cute pattern. We're gonna open that in another tab and add it to my to-dos. Oh look, someone's doing the twisted bracelets. Cute, cute, cute. If you guys are interested in that technique, I did a tutorial on it. That was my last video. This is definitely the correct pattern here. Okay, we hit 30. We'll wait for this to load, then we'll move over to patterns. Patterns, I'm not even gonna look at the picture. I'm not gonna look at the picture. Okay, moving over to patterns. This is, whew, we got some flags here. So our first warnings are try to avoid using similar colors. So saying D and E are the same and B and C are the same. This pattern already exists, so it's flagged as a variation, which we could tell by what we're seeing on the screen. And there's a red flag here that says the pattern already has 248 variations. Be more strict during review. So let's see what we're looking at here. Oh, monochrome, like brown toned bracelet, but it looks very, very similar to this one right here. So for that reason already, I'm going to decline this. So the flag here is just saying that this is a variation, which we can see because it's the same thing with different colors. It's not flagging anything else though, so this is perfectly fine. There's no other variation on this pattern that we need to be concerned about, so we will accept that. A puppy pattern. So far as I can see, it hasn't flagged anything. I don't see any issues with the pattern. The only thing I do want to check though is that I know recently there has been an influx in like puppy patterns, and I just want to make sure that we don't have a duplicate here. This is very, very similar to Soda Pop's patterns here. I mean, it is a completely different dog and there's nothing actually wrong with the pattern, so I'm inclined to accept it because it doesn't appear to be a duplicate from Soda Pop either, even though it is very similar to her designs. I'm gonna go ahead and accept it because it is a completely different dog, which is the main part of the pattern. Kind of on the fence because, I mean, it's not exactly stolen, but it is very similar, but I can't really tell the person that they stole it because it's, you know what I mean? Kind of a weird one. Okay, nothing is flagged here. It's a variation. Someone else is on and has accepted another variation of this because we just accepted this one. And there's nothing wrong with this. Nothing else is flagged, so we'll go ahead and accept it. Okay, so this one has flagged that it's a variation, but no other flags. And I mean, yep, there's no other variations here we need to look at, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And you know what, this is taking a while, so I might actually open up a second screen here for photos and we can pop back and forth. This is flagged that it's a variation. It looks like there's only one other variation on this pattern and nothing else is flagged. Almost a little surprising really, because this blue is quite dark, but if the system hasn't flagged it, then I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I'm going to accept that, and while that's loading, we'll bop over here. This is definitely this pattern. Popping back over to patterns, we've got a variation on this Hamilton pattern, and there's nothing wrong with it. No other flags. We'll go ahead and accept that and pop over to photos again. This is what I do. This is how I do this. I pop back and forth. This is definitely this pattern with the ribbon clamps and everything. Very nice. I wonder what thread they're using. That thread looks very shiny. I wonder if it's DMC or if it's something else. Interesting. We'll accept that. This is a variation and we have an extra flag here. So we've got the flag, this pattern already exists, can be added as variation. We've also got the flag here to avoid similar colors. E equals G, which I don't agree with. Now this is where things get kind of tricky, because from what I understand from admin is that it's actually quite difficult to code the system to recognize similar colors and shades. So some of this the system may flag, but it might not always be accurate. So when we look at this, E equals G, I don't agree with. I think there is more than enough difference between the two that flag, I think we can safely say, is null and void. Then we're going to go D equals E. These are both brown shades, so it can be very similar. Looking at the boxes here, I think they're different enough. But the next thing I look at is I look in the actual preview here. In the preview, they look different enough to me. And then lastly, I look in the knotting chart to see if there's any point where the colors cross over, if they're hard to distinguish, because sometimes that's kind of the make or break. You might be able to tell them apart in the preview, but if you can't tell them apart in the actual knotting pattern chart, it's kind of useless. So I think these are different enough that monitors shouldn't have an issue picking up the differences. So I think those two are okay. And then our last one is B equals C. And I think there's enough difference in tonality that they should be okay, because one's definitely more of a purple color and one's more of a pink color. I can understand why the system flagged it though, because the pink does have kind of a purpley undertone to it. Honestly, the more I look at this area where the string's passing under, the more I'm thinking the contrast may need to be upped between them. Now, what also gets tricky with this is you have to keep in mind that if you are making patterns on your phone screen has a certain type of display where you might be able to differentiate those patterns. But if you have a phone, I would suggest you pull up a pattern on your phone, and then if you have a desktop computer or a laptop, especially one that's a couple years old, go pull that exact same pattern up on the computer, and you'll start to see the differences in how the color is shown because of the types of the display, the dating of the display. If you've got an old dinosaur of a computer monitor, even if your computer is half decent, it doesn't have the capability of showing as well the distinguished things. Now I'm lucky enough that I'm sitting on a nice gaming computer with an expensive monitor and stuff, so I can see the differences on this, but the more I look at the knotting chart, the more I can start to see that similarity and how an older monitor might have difficulties telling the two apart. So I think our other two were different enough. Like in here, I don't get that same effect that I'm getting with this pink and purple, and the red and this brown never cross over each other, and also I think they're drastically different. So I think in this case I'm just going to ask this person to change B and C. So I will decline this one, and hopefully if we see it again, it'll have a little more difference between those two colors. Next one, we've got a variation. That's the only flag here, so that's good. We do have some other variations on this pattern. The one we're looking at is this one here. Now there's nothing with a pink background in these variations, so right away I think we're okay to accept it when we've only got so few variations on this. While that's loading, let's pop over here. We've got an arrowhead pattern. That is definitely this. This is definitely the correct pattern. You can tell it, distinguish it in the image here. It's not too blurry. We'll go ahead and say yes on that. Okay, this is a Vampire Diaries pattern. The flag is that it's large. Honestly, most of the time we don't pay attention to that flag unless it's unnecessarily large. We don't have any color flags though. My question is it unique enough to not be considered a simple text pattern? And the things we look for in a simple text pattern really come down to kind of the design of it. So for instance, a pattern that has a very unique font that maybe says like yikes or yeet or be yeeted or YOLO, I don't know. Like a popular phrase that has a really unique, I can't even talk. Why are we here? Really unique font could be accepted, or if it has a really unique decoration could be accepted if it's a really popular saying, because people may want to make it. But if we're looking at a basic font that isn't a really popular saying, it's just a name or something of the like that doesn't have a lot of decoration to it, that would be considered a simple text font, because a simple text font, a simple word bracelet, because you can just pop into the generator, pop out the words in 2 seconds, and that's it. So does this constitute a simple text pattern? This is kind of on the edge, because this is obviously quite a decorative font. It has some decoration here. This is a logo for the Vampire Diaries. Here, let's pull up. I think this is specifically from the originals, but I think if we put in Vampire Diaries logo. Side note, have any of you read the books? I like the books a lot. The TV show I dropped off on partway through, a couple seasons in, but this is what they're going for, I believe, in here. Yeah. And this is obviously a quote from the TV show. I'm very tempted to accept this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a snippy of this, save it, and I'm going to upload it to our moderator space. So I'll post that there, and then I'll go moderate some photos, maybe some other stuff, and see if anyone responds. Okay, let's see. We have a August 2020 challenge week 2. Yeah, so basically this is where things get slowed down, because if I'm unsure about a pattern, like this one, I post it over here. But a lot of the moderators and admins, we're all in different time zones. We're all over the world. So there might not be anyone on. And then I either have to make a call on my own or sit and wait until someone else gets on. All right, anyways, August 2020, let's pull open the challenges again. Ooh, we are in the moderator forum still. Let's pull open challenges again. Where is the official August 2020 challenge? This is pattern 47061. 47061, perfect. All right, we'll open the reward panel up again. And I think someone just responded on this. Is it from the show in some way? Like, does it appear in the show, or is it a made-up font that the user made? That's a good question. We may have to do some Googling here, folks. Let's go ahead and give this person their reward before we forget, though. 1 reward. Perfect. We'll accept their photo. Let's see. Google.ca/images. Hello, brother. That is not what I was expecting. We'll add TBD to the end of that to see what happens. But I don't think this is at all a font. Yeah, the font doesn't have any symbolism within the show. And sometimes that's just it. You'll post something and then you go move to something else. Then you're like, you think about it more. You're like, maybe I shouldn't have accepted that one. Maybe I should have accepted this one. Okay, let's go back to pictures here. We got like this cute little sunflower style pattern. It's a cute little set here. This is definitely acceptable. No problems there. We'll leave that for a little bit longer and see if anyone else says anything. But yeah, the more I sit on it, the more I think I'm just going to decline it. But we've had some discussion about simple word patterns today in patterns that are approved. Just kind of some of us agreeing and disagreeing on what simple word patterns are and what constitutes as enough decoration, that sort of thing. So I'd rather check in and see what the others think before I accept it, especially because we were talking about it just today. This is a cute little otter. So cute. Yes, we'll accept you, otter. Starfish. Oh, this is cute too. Accept that. I actually started this pattern at one point for a different video, but the technique I was using wasn't good for this pattern, so I actually abandoned it, made another pattern. But this is still in my to-dos, so I'm still gonna make it at some point. It's interesting that it came up literally the day after I thought I was going to do it. A chevron. I can see the pattern here, because I don't think that's even big enough to be considered a keychain, to be quite honest. So I'm going to tell this person that this is too early in the stage of completion to work on it some more, and post a picture when more of it is finished, because I don't really think that image is going to add anything. Like, that's not going to be an image that someone looks at and goes, oh, that's what this pattern looks like. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably going to be a pattern that the individual is going to get better at nodding at, and then we're going to get asked to remove it later. This is definitely this pattern. We can accept that. I don't think, yeah, one of the moderators just agreed with what I said. So I'm going to decline this one as a simple word pattern. I have a feeling this person is going to add logo into the keywords and submit it back. But maybe we'll reassess it then when more people are online. But for now, I'm going to decline it as a simple word pattern. And a starburst. I've yet to not a starburst, but okay, this is flagged as a variation, obviously. The pattern has 201 variations. Please be more strict during review. All right, let's see what we got. It is almost identical to the one right here. So I'm not even gonna waste my time scrolling through everything. It's too similar. Another one. Okay, try to avoid using similar colors in your pattern. So E and F we'll keep in mind when we get down to the pattern. The system is flagging. Top strings don't match the bottom ones. Not always important. Sometimes it does make a difference, but in this case, this is a variation, so we don't have to worry about that. It's already been accepted. It's flagging this as a variation, and then it's also telling us there's 283 variations on this, so we need to be more strict during the review. So keeping in mind E and F, let's go to the bottom here. And E and F are definitely too similar. So when we look here in the boxes, we can kind of see the difference. When we look in the knotting chart and we see them like side by side, we see there's a very slight difference. When we look in the knotting graph, they're almost indistinguishable. So I would definitely decline this for the colors being too similar. If we weren't already looking at so many variations, I'll go ahead and I'll look through here anyways so that I'm giving the person the correct information. So even if they were to make one of these oranges a little bit darker, they're not just going to get rejected for being too similar as it is. Generally what I do at this point is I will try and remember what the pattern looks like. I'll scroll up the left side, all the patterns, then snake back down the next row, up and down to see if I see anything similar. I think at this point I'm going to tell the individual that not only are the colors the same, but also the variation is very similar. So they can either rework the variation completely or see if changing their colors can make a difference, but I'm going to decline this for that reason. There's a few variations that are relatively similar to that, and with so many variations there, it's got to be really drastically different for me to feel okay accepting it. This one, on the other hand, only has one variation of the original pattern, and the background is a different color and the cat is a completely different color. So we can go ahead and accept this because the only flag there is that it's a variation. And that's going to take a sweet time, so let's pop over to photos, and this is very blurry. It looks like their camera focused up here instead of in the middle of the bracelet. So I'm going to say the photo is too blurry. Could you try and play around with the focus on your camera? I expect this person is probably using a phone just based on like the image and how it focused and stuff. So I'm actually going to add the message here as well. If you are using your phone, you can tap the screen where your bracelet is and it will refocus there. But we'll decline that one. I'm popping over here. We've got color block. This hasn't flagged any colors. It's not too similar to anything there, so we can go ahead and accept that. We like accepting things. This one again seems very blurry. Decline that. This isn't my pattern. I found it on Pinterest. Okay, so there's a couple things here. First of all, the person has already admitted that this is a stolen pattern. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, do you have permission from the original creator to be posting this pattern here? And then I will also say the four edges need to be even, because right now we've got one line here, one line here, one line here, three over here, which makes the pattern really off center for no design reason. And then I'll put the note to make all sides equal. But that will be declined because the person has already admitted as of right now that it's not their pattern. So the next thing we look for is if they have claim to have permission, which they technically claim when they hit the little ticky box, but most people just hit the tick box so they can submit their pattern. That's just the facts. This is a very cleanly knotted picture. It's definitely that pattern, so we'll go ahead and accept that. a dog. We've got even sides around the pattern. Kind of unique that they didn't put a border down here, but then again, the rest of the dog's body would be there, so that kind of makes sense. But this is really clean. It doesn't look distorted, so we're going to go ahead and accept it. I was really concerned when I saw the top of this. I was like, yikes, that's blurry. But it looks like it's blurry because it focused on this person's beautiful bracelet. I love these colors. It's so cheery. Moving over here, we see this is flagged as a variation. We see another moderator has already sent this back to the individual for being too similar to the original pattern or existing variation. This is the exact same colorway that the original was made out of. So I'm going to add a bracket here with the number 2 in it that indicates to the other moderators that I am sending this back for the second time, because we can't see who has sent what or how many times it's been sent before. So we add a number in now to indicate if it has been sent back for the same reason multiple times. If your pattern gets sent back for the same reason multiple times and you still haven't made a change to it after about the 3-time mark, at that point we may consider your pattern spam and remove it, because we have a lot of patterns to go through and not the time to deal with saying the same thing over and over again and assessing the pattern over and over again. It's a lot of work and it's just unnecessary. Try to avoid using similar colors. A equals B. We have a flag that it's a variation, obviously, and there's already 64 variations on this pattern. So let's see what A and B are. A and B are both brown colors. One definitely has more of a red tone than the other though. And when we look in the chart, they're very distinguishable from each other, and when we look in the knotting graph, they're very distinguishable from each other. So I don't think there's an issue there. So our next issue is it similar to a pattern in existence? So I actually think, I'm actually a little surprised that this didn't flag D and E. I think I'm going to accept this one. Popping back over to photos, look, there's a nice clean crisp picture. Definitely the pattern, so we'll go ahead and accept that. Oh, okay. We've got a flag for similar colors. D and E and C and D. D and E. Yeah, and C and E. Or C and D. C and D and D and E. The review notes say, hi, I tried to fix the similar colors, but I don't understand how they are similar. D is more of a cooler tone, and E is more of a warmer tone. They look different to the naked eye. So does C and D, with C being way darker than D. Would this be good enough? Okay, so it looks like previously they had a color that was flagged as too dark. So they've definitely attempted to fix that. So we'll remove that. There's nothing flagging that now, so that's a good step. Now our next spot is D and E in the knotting grid. C and D, I can definitely agree, are different enough. So I would take C and D out of here for sure. And when we look at the knotting preview, like C and D are definitely quite distinguishable. E and D are also very distinguishable in the graph, but less distinguishable in the actual knotting chart. But I think they're still, like, I can see why it flagged it. The undertones on them is very similar. I think there's enough shade contrast between them that they should be okay. There's some useless keywords in here, but there's some good ones in here. Keep in mind, your keywords are literally used for people to search your pattern. This is what pulls your pattern up in the search engine. Okay, I don't think any user is going to put the word use into the search engine expecting to find a pattern. They may put darker in, Colors they're not going to. For they're not going to. You know what? I'm going to flag this for the keywords. Okay, photos. Let's see. This is definitely the correct pattern. We'll accept that. Ooh, okay, top strings, don't match the bottom ones. Yep, it's a variation. It's fine in this case. The pattern already exists as a variation. 105 variations, let's be more strict. Okay. Okay, I'll accept this one because I don't see one that's quite the same. This one looks like it focused weird. Like it focused on the edges. So this is almost like there was a smudge on the lens. So I'm going to send that one back. Otherwise it looked like it would have been a really nice picture. Variation is flagged here. There's no other variations to compare against. So just the original, and I'd say they've changed a color in here, so that's fine. Photos, yep, that's definitely an arrowhead pattern. Use lighter colors, color B. Like I said, I'm on a pretty powerful gaming computer right now, and I'm not able to distinguish, or I'm hardly able to distinguish the graph out of this. So I'm generally a little more lenient on the dark color thing in normal patterns because you normally use the chart. However, I do think you should be able to see the grid in the pattern to kind of assess the pattern, and it's not going to be possible if you have any older style monitor with this color. So I'm going to decline it. They'll need to make that lighter. Yorkshire Terrier. Oh, Andy. Oh, I see what they did. Okay, they just didn't use white in the eyes. Otherwise, it looks like the pattern though, so we'll accept that. This is a variation again of this Hamilton pattern. This is only flagged that it's a variation. We can see the grid and everything clearly, so we'll accept that. Very nice with sparkly metallic thread. That's definitely the correct pattern. This is flagged a variation. We've got a couple variations here. None of them look like this though, so we'll go ahead and accept that. The wave. Ooh, this looks good. I'm really liking these wave patterns. There's a few of them on here, and I really want to make like a big detailed one like I'm itching to. The only thing here is that we're getting a flag for the image being too small, and it's already looking kind of pixely at this side, so I'm definitely going to have to decline this for being too small. Over here, see, okay, so like the dovetail that like changes color is really popular, but this is like the dovetail that I learned, where the color, like your outline color doesn't change, it all stays the same. This is the dovetail that I learned. This is like double dovetail. And what's more interesting is that this is a later pattern. More interesting. Okay. This is a really cute color combo though, and nothing has came up with colors, so we'll go ahead and accept it. We're coming up with the same, I think this is even the same user. Same thing. This is a relatively small image, and it's already got some pixelation resolution issues around the bracelet and the text. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to send it back again. And again, what's probably causing this is whatever app she is using to add her watermark to it, or their watermark. This is like a starburst with like a Celtic knot in it. I like that. That is very cool. Okay. The only thing that's flagged is that this is a variation. So let's see what we're looking at. I don't think, the only thing I thought I saw with kind of these colors at first glance is like this one, but it's completely different. edit, so the two that are here are being held in another moderator's window right now, so I'm not able to access them. But we'll do this one, and I think this will be the last one for tonight. What has flagged here? Just that there's a lot of variations. Okay, so we've got black background with like a pink and a purple, and I'm not seeing anything here like that. The only one I see with a black background is this one, and this one, which are not at all like this. So I think we can accept this. And I think that is all for tonight, guys. I'm going to head out. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to sit and see more moderating, definitely let me know and give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, guys, bye.